There you go. Okay, adoption of agenda. We had one mover and one seconder. Any amendments, any discussion? Okay, seeing none. Let's vote. Okay, this passes. Adoption of minutes. Can I have a mover and can I have a mover? Moved by Rowan, and can I have a seconder? Ruby. Okay, any discussion on adoption of minutes? Seeing none, let's vote. Okay, that motion carries. Now for presentations. First, we will hear from Gina. Gina, you have the floor.
Hello. Yeah, so here's the report for SOC. So our main projects right now are our logo. The other project is the Artist in Residence program, as well as BIPOC mental health support. So for our logo, we are reaching the finish line and are excited to share our new design with everyone within the next few weeks. For our next project is Artist in Residence. We have gone through all the applications and are currently working on narrowing down the applicants to select our artist. And finally, our BIPOC mental health support programs is developing really quickly. We are working on choosing facilitators who can lead each support group cohorts. SOC has also been asked to participate in the back to school programs. So our coordinator is working on a workshop to discuss meaningful allyship and talk more about SOC. Yeah, that's it for the report.
Perfect. Thanks, Gina. I know you have to go for a class, so thanks so much for coming in and presenting your report. Do we have any objections in if we do the reports first and then go for the presentations? There's one tiny one relating to the strategic plan. Okay. So do we have any reports from the excluded management?
Just a short one, and sorry about the lighting. Just sweet the sun. Hi everyone, it's so great to have Charlene in this meeting. And I'm trying to explain everything through private message as we go because there's so many acronyms with the UVSS. This is my last board meeting as ED, as my last day is next Friday, August 6th. And I did a quick tally and I think I've participated in at least 80 board meetings over my time as a student staff person, RCM, and then as ED. This is probably my favorite one as it is my last one, no offense. It's been really great working with you all and I hope that you reach out if you ever need anything. I know you're going to do amazing things for the organization and for students. Just wanted to say bye.
Always teary-eyed moments. Um, yeah, and hearts for you. You look always radiant, even with this dramatic lightning. Okay. Uh, any other reports from any other exclude management? Okay. Let's go on to portfolios. Robin's not here. Is anyone from campaigns comfortable presenting their report? Haley or Kritika, I don't know if she's here. Haley, do you have anything that you want to say?
No, not much to report.
Okay.
Just, yeah. Is Robin not coming today?
Robin is on vacation.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I can do finance and operations. I was away for a week, so not a lot of work that I've done, mostly ED hiring committee, as well as a little bit of finance and budgeting. Also, you will see the strategic plan coming up today. That's all from my side. Outreach and university relations.
Hey everyone, I'm filling in for Marin today. I just have a couple of things. So the book of you that we were doing instead of the agenda this year is almost done. And it's going to be printed sometime soon. And then we're working together with Q and events committee for residents move-in and CKO. We just got some of the swag that we ordered. So we're going to be filling totes for residents move-in. And we're just trying to prepare for the start of the year. So thank you.
Next up, student affairs.
Hi everyone. Other than some admin stuff, we got a delivery driver for food bank committee from TELUS. They'll be donating their time, so once a week. Happy about that. Just means hopefully nice produce. I also helped out with the artists in residence for SOC and just wanted to highlight some of the really fantastic trainings that we've done, like the disability justice one. Q is fantastic. Sorry, different Q than the Q, our lovely Q here. Yeah.
Events.
Hi. So it's been a very hectic past 2 weeks. If you can look at the director's reports, mine is kind of high, but pretty much the biggest things that we've been doing are planning campus kickoff, like the outreach plan. So for all of the month of August, 3 times a week, we'll be posting for campus kickoff. And I'm actually going to talk about some stuff in camera to get you folks like filming some fun videos just for the outreach. Otherwise, I'm on a couple of 5 days of action committees. I've been working a lot with Thunderfest committee because Thunderfest falls on the Friday of campus kickoff. So we're doing some like partnership stuff there. I've also been working on the edits for the anti-Asian racism survey, which we hope to disseminate in mid-August. That's like the latest I would like it to be handed out. So yeah, the final edits on that. And then, yeah, we also have been doing a lot of work with the Access for All campaign. I'm the UVSS rep on the Society for Students with a Disability Access for All campaign working group. It's a mouthful, but yeah, so I'm sitting on that one. And then I'm also coordinating with OSL on back to school orientation for those first year, second year cohort who are coming back. So yeah.
Okay, now committees and councils. Do we have any report from electoral?
Electoral is going to start meeting in a couple weeks, so not yet.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Executive committee. Does anyone have anything to report? Food bank and free store.
Okay, I can just quickly update. I had a meeting with Tutti, the delivery service, the local one. And it was regarding more stuff to do with like events and felicitas and stuff, but we also inquired about getting some delivery services for students. It's separate from what Marielle was talking about, TELUS. That TELUS is for like the delivery services to get groceries to hand out to people. And then the one that I talked about with Tutti is actually delivering it to people's houses once the hamper is fully made. So that's one thing that we got going on. And there's also Hunger Awareness Week. It's the last week of September. And so we're planning on doing some events at that time. I don't want to speak too much on it because I'm not super involved in that event planning, but if Katie wants to talk about that. Otherwise, that's it for Facebook for Food Bank and Free Store Committee.
Katie, do you have anything to say? Okay.
No, not yet. Once we have things more set in stone, we will.
Okay. Peer support center.
ESC committee. Anybody want to take this? Okay. So we're working on our schedule for the fall, and it looks like we're going to have a really solid mix of both in-person and online hours and at all times of the day. And then we're also working on a speed friending event for September, which is kind of like the same premise as speed dating, but it's to make friends, and that'll be in the quad. So we'll have more info about that coming up.
That sounds very cute. Jem.
Hey, so we are in the process of reviewing applications for the GEM coordinator position, and applications for that just closed this past weekend, and we have a hiring committee meeting tomorrow. So we should be moving to the interview phase fairly soon. And I don't have anything else to report from GEM.
Thank you. NSU. Yeah, I know they're on their break right now, so they might not have anything to report, but let's moving on. Pride. Yeah.
I don't think Owen's here, but I know that they're doing many things, one of which is looking for better mental health initiatives. I think they're working with Mental Health Wellness Week committee and also survivor-centric methods of reporting.
Great.
Many things.
Stock report was already given by Gina, so the SSD.
Hi, we have so much going on, a little bit overwhelmed, but we are really prioritizing updating our website and getting a better social media presence. So we're having some events and taking photography at the end of the summer. It's hard to do when we're still trying to do everything socially distanced, but make it look like, you know, good for a website and social media. So yeah, that's kind of what we're prioritizing, as well as some mental health supports collaborations. So actually, Marielle, maybe I'll connect with Owen so that we could double up.
Thank you everyone for your reports. Let's go back to presentations and announcements. We do have a small one about the strategic plan by Nigel. So it's a short one. Hopefully you won't get bored, but Nigel, the floor is yours.
Cool. So just to clarify, are we going to like go through all those different sections of the strat plan now, or do we want to save that for when are we like waiting for the motion to adopt it?
That would be a separate just to adopt and have discussion. This is just presentation. So go ahead with those.
Yeah, so I hope you all saw attached to the minutes is the consolidated strategic plan. And I know many of you will be familiar with what is in at least your section of the strategic plan because you were involved in producing it. And hopefully then you're somewhat familiar with the various issues and goals that have been identified by your portfolio as priorities for this year. So I guess before I go on to more of the details of the strategic plan, I would just like to acknowledge that today I'm coming to you from the territories of the Halkominam and Simcotan speaking peoples, and specifically the territories of the Wasanic and Coast Salish nations. Most of our work and most of this plan will be implemented in the stolen and unceded territories of the Kwangan speaking people. And it's really vital that we all reflect on the ways that we perpetuate settler colonialism and how we really must center decolonization in our efforts this term and in our efforts with implementing this plan. So yeah, as a reminder, the strategic plan is basically our vision document that sort of provides a roadmap for our work over our term in office. And under the Board of Directors policy, we are required to produce a strategic plan on an annual basis. This document has to reflect the mission, vision, and values of the UVSS. So another thing is, as per the Board of Directors policy, we're required to evaluate our progress on the various components and metrics of this plan at the semi-annual general meeting this fall. So just keep in mind that these are sort of our priorities and they should be kind of the focus of our work. And we are accountable to our membership on our progress with these goals. So we will be needing to report on the status of these initiatives in the coming months. So just like keep that in your head as we move forward. So basically, the responsibility to organize the strat plan falls within the FinOps portfolio. And since Dip is chairing our meeting today, I'm going to lead our discussion. I think probably the best way to do this is we'll just go through the plan in like order of portfolios in the table of contents. So hopefully we can like keep our remarks fairly brief since the document's quite long. And for folks who are interested in more details, the full things attached to the agenda and will hopefully be approved by the board tonight. So I understand that Dip has asked each of the leads to speak about like 2 sentences on 2 of the goals in their section. And since Marin and Robin are absent today, I'm hoping there's a Dal from each portfolio that's available to discuss that section. So hopefully we'll start with campaigns and community relations. Haley, if you're willing to talk for a minute or 2.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just pick 2. We have 4 main primary goals. One of them is global divestment from fossil fuels and reinvestment in community. That's like the overarching, very broad goal. But the SMART goal is for the UVic Foundation board to commit to full divestment from fossil fuels by 2025. So the current students are concerned with just the ethical and moral considerations of being associated with an institution that is invested in fossil fuels. And the values that go with this goal are good governance, sustainability, services, and social justice. And then I won't read through all the key stakeholders because there's actually quite a lot of them. But that's one goal that I'm personally working on a lot this year with Divest. And then a second one is a world where rape culture does not exist. So the SMART goal is to destabilize campus rape culture by working with the university to create a stronger institutional accountability and by continuing public-facing campaign engagement with UVSS members. So just explaining like rape culture still exists, therefore the UVSS can and should take a stand to challenge and change our university culture to one of consent. And then the values that go with that are social justice and also decolonization. And the Let's Get Consensual campaign communications must center transparency and consent in order to support survivors on campus, engage perpetrators of sexualized violence, prompt political actions, and to have meaningful collaboration between AVP, UVic, UVSS, LGC partners, and the OSL.
Awesome. Thank you, Haley. And we'll just like try and bump through these really quickly. So Q, could you talk about events real quick?
Yes. I can't pick two important things. They're all important. But I would say that the first main thing is that our like broad goal is ensuring food security for all UVSS members, including relieving some financial stress. So that includes like the hot lunch program that I have motioned towards a couple of times. And then the other one, making the UVSS as accessible, inclusive, and fun as possible. Do you want me to dive in, or is that the kind of briefness you would like?
I mean, I think that's great. Like we can all take a read through if we want more details. So yeah, let's go to bed tonight. Anyways, I'm going to talk about some of the goals and priorities that FinOps is pursuing. Oh my God, I can't talk. Anyways, so basically, yeah, if you want more information, just read the strategy and tactics and issues and all that. It's all in there for all of these. But yeah, I'm just going to talk about two goals. So firstly, we want to achieve a carbon neutral sub by 2040. And I know this is like very ambitious, especially for a 1-year board term, but our ideal is to really start like building the framework and institutional infrastructure to maintain momentum on this project over the long term. And there's already some exciting things in the works about this, so just stay tuned. If you want more information, just like reach out to Dip or Rowan or myself. And then obviously the values that are sort of connected to that are, where'd it go? Oh my gosh. Are good governance and sustainability and decolonization. And then another goal of our portfolio is to create synergy between the business operations and the sub-business marketing committee. And the idea behind this goal is we think there's opportunity to sort of analyze the efficacy and impact of our promotional campaigns and provide that analysis to our businesses so they can sort of have a little more clarity around their decision making. The sort of overall goal of this analysis is to identify ways that the sub can become a more attractive venue for the student population, thereby increase our overall foot traffic and sales, which sort of just feeds back into that what's it called? The model. Oh my God, I'm blanking. What's the word? Our model for like where our businesses fund our services. You know what I mean, I hope. Anyways, okay, I'll pass it off to Josh to discuss ISR. Thanks, I'm mumbling.
All right, thanks a bunch, Nigel. This portfolio has like 3 main focuses, but the 2 ones that I'll just talk about right now that we're really excited about, really looking to further develop the framework and kind of solidify what DISR is for the next director. And so that entails finally making a manual for this position so that there's more of a solidified understanding of what this is for the next person, and engaging in policy to make sure that this director position becomes a part-time paid lead position as well, just due to its importance. And then the next one that we're really excited to keep engaging in is working with OSO and AVP on the curriculum work regarding culturally relevant SVP, and continuing working with the Peer Support Center and working on mental health materials for like international students, topics like culture shock and more relevant topics specifically for international students. So.
Awesome, thank you, Josh. Student outreach and engagement.
I can talk about this one again for Marin. So we have a lot of goals for the year, but a couple of ours are make the process of implementing important changes to the UVS practices more obtainable. So we're looking to reduce quorum, and this is just to ensure the values of good governance and excellence, so that like the policies that we all come up with can pass and change the UVSS. And then a second one is make sure that students know where to go when they've experienced harm on campus or need to advocate for themselves. So I think this is going to look like a like a flow chart or a roadmap. And I know short term, Marin is meeting with the ombudsperson, and it's just going to involve all of the different sources in the sub and the UVSS. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Student affairs.
Sure, I'll make it pretty quickly. One of our big overarching goals is to get every student involved with campus services and build long-lasting friendships. So we want to reach 200 ratified clubs and expand and strengthen gender-based and sexualized violence prevention training for club execs, so that it's a little bit more generative, so that people want to do it instead of like me telling them you have to do it. And also helping advocacy and affiliated groups expand their reach, so that more people know about our fantastic services. That's it.
Great, thanks, Marielle. So I guess now we'll take some time for questions. Does I guess we'll just, anyone can ask anything to anybody. So Kathleen, did you want to ask something?
Sure, thanks. Well, I did make some comments and suggestions in the doc, and I'm not sure if they were like how I get them into the strat plan or what the process is for that. I know I was on a leave of absence over the first 6 weeks of the summer, so maybe I missed that.
Maybe Dip or Alana could talk about that. I don't know.
I can answer that question. When we kind of set it out, I think that discussion was there, but I don't know if Marin resolved those comments or not. Do you see the changes that you have?
Yeah, well, it says that you resolved them. Because I made notes because I'm part of outreach portfolio. So I made notes to discuss with my group, but I didn't realize that this was, maybe that was last week, and I didn't realize that this was coming up right now. So I thought we would have time to discuss it in our portfolio meeting. But I also had some other questions. But yeah, I'm just wondering, like, does this have to be finished tonight, or is there an opportunity to have my suggestions incorporated or discussed?
So I think, I'm pretty sure the bylaws state that we need to have it adopted by the board by July 31st, if that's correct. So I think we do need to finish it tonight.
Alana says in the chat that it's policy, but not a huge deal. Just because, yeah, like I said, like I got sent it maybe 2 weeks ago and reviewed it last week, but I wasn't aware of the deadline. And so, yeah, I don't want to take up time at the meeting tonight, but I would love to have a chance to discuss stuff with my portfolio. And then I can also, I've just got a couple quick questions that I was going to email, but since it's on the agenda for tonight, one of them was for finance. I was just wondering if there was any goals related to financial literacy training for students and the community, because I think that that would help increase the engagement and knowledgeability of the people that UVSS represents and people that are potential members of our community. So I didn't see anything about that in there, and I just wanted to suggest that rather than, because all of the goals are fairly focused on growing the businesses, which has a, material reason, but yeah, just that's something that I find is lacking in general education settings, and it would be nice to try to get folks more knowledgeable about how finances work at this level, as well as personal finances, because everyone's accumulating debt. So maybe I'll give Nigel a chance to answer that.
Actually, Nigel, if you don't mind, I can answer that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can do it.
So basically the strat plan, the purpose of it is a little bit different. It is different from promises or campaign promises or goals for individual directors or what we kind of campaign for. What the strat plan kind of does is set a direction for the society without going into as much specifics. Some of the goals that you see came from the overarching or kind of structural issues from the that existed within the organization and ways or plans to mitigate that. So as far as financial literacy goes for students, of course, we can do something about that. I'm not sure if that would be a good fit for the strategic plan or putting that into the strategic plan, because the purpose of the document would be different. Hopefully I answered your question, Kathleen.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll take my suggestion into consideration in the future. Most of my other notes were for my portfolios, and I'm not at home until Wednesday, so like and we're not having a meeting this week because Marin's away, so I just don't really know what our timeline is going to be. But I did make notes in there. I'm not sure if anyone had a chance to see them. But I would like to add them in before the strat plan is published, or at least give them a chance.
Okay, Marielle.
Yeah. Also, Kathleen, I know that Mara would be super happy to collaborate, perhaps a little less formally. So another option would be to pass this, but yet make those changes in day-to-day outreach actions. But that's another totally different thing. Just a thought.
Yeah. I mean, it's up to the group.
Sorry, just
I do have one other question too.
Sorry, we're just going through a speakers list. Next would be Delisha.
I don't want to overshadow anyone's thoughts here, but I'm thinking if we go ahead and pass this, in line with the timeline that we already had, there will be opportunity later on to collaborate on kind of like what you were saying, Marielle, of less formal level. And I know that the SSD is already running things, like we did a disability tax credit workshop and just like many other things. And so there is opportunity to do that down the line. And so I don't see why we should hold this up.
Okay, anyone else? Q, go ahead.
Yeah, I also wanted to reiterate, like, once these things are published and finalized, like, it's still super flexible. Like, if something changed, not to like diminish the importance of the strat plan, of course, like we're trying to aim for that. That's our goal, right? But if things like are flexible in between, like that's totally up to each individual portfolio to decide that and find like the best way of action. So, but I also don't know specifically what your feedback was, Kathleen, so I'm not trying to diminish anything that you're saying.
Kathleen?
Yeah, well, I read the strat plan with the role of UVSS in mind. The services we're responsible for and who we're serving, and also our values of decolonization, like we're very front and foremost in my mind. And all of my, like a lot of my suggestions are like actually filling holes where I think our plan could address those values better. So I know the strat plan is like enough, just sort of something that we need to publish, and it doesn't mean that's all we're going to do all year, but I think as far as like what we're committing ourselves to, and also how we like what sort of values and thoughts we're putting first. I think that it's missing some stuff. So for example, yeah, so like the financial literacy, like I think like that contributes to decolonization, like because it empowers people to not get stuck in colonial systems of debt and credit, and to be able to make their own like plans for their future in a way, because I think a lot of students do graduate with like crippling debt. There's also a lot of students that don't even get to come to school because they can't afford it. So I felt like that addressed that value. And then also like in the outreach portfolio, our primary considerations didn't include accessibility, but we just completed like a 6-hour training on accessibility. So I thought it'd be really great to include that. And those are just a couple examples. So I also made some comments that anyone can see. They're in the resolved comments, but yeah, like there's something about improving affordability, and I think that's really vague. And I wanted to like align that with a goal of access to education for all, including like free tuition. We're not saying we're going to do that, but we're saying that's what we want, and we're trying to do like improve affordability for students now. But that's not what we're going to settle for. But I don't know if everyone else holds those values. So I'm not saying we need to add those in, but I just wanted to have a chance to like discuss them, because I felt like it would look like it represented that decolonizing value a little bit better. Yeah, so I guess Q, yeah, some other folks want to talk, and I'm good with whatever everyone decides. Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to let my feelings be known. Thank you.
Okay, first we'll go to Q and then Nigel.
Thanks for sharing that, Kathleen. That's really important. And I would love to chat about that with you, about holding like a financial literacy thingy, like because I work very closely with SSD. So we could offer that if that's something that Delicia's up for, then we can chat about that, because that seems like an events related thing as well. We can talk about like what that would look like financially too. And yeah, if that feels good for you.
Nigel?
Yeah, I also just want to touch on one thing, that I think the strat plan, like the process was quite confusing for me and like difficult in just that it's I guess the intention of it is to be quite it's a vision document, right? It's not necessarily specific like projects or like a specific event that we will be holding. It's like a quite sort of broad direction of where we're trying to aim. And I think like some of the stuff we're discussing is sort of more granular than the strat plan necessarily is. So yeah.
Okay, I do not see any more X's in the chat, so I have to move on. Question period. Does anyone have any general questions? I know this is usually a place for marketed to ask their question, but since they're not there, anyone else, if they want to ask a question, go ahead. Okay, seeing none. Email motion. So there was a motion passed by email, which is to be it ratified that the board elects Q as the undergraduate rep for, yeah, it was the Senate Planning Committee. And that motion was carried. And let's go to the main motions for today. Motion 2. Can I have a seconder? Okay, Deborah. Okay, be it ratified that the UVSS elect Sophie Papp, I hope I'm not saying it wrong, as the undergraduate student representative for the advisory committee on academic accommodations and access for students with disability. Do we have any discussions? Seeing none, vote.
Did we need a seconder? And I would have motivated.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there was a seconder. Deb, second the motion. Oh, sorry, did you still want to motivate? I thought that was the discussion part.
Well, it seems that people are keen to say yes, so I don't have to. I just, Sophie is part of the SSD and is part of the communications role. And so this is perfectly in line with what their mandate are at the SSD.
Yeah.
They've also been the past president for the SSD. So they're perfectly aware of students with a disability and represent in such a equitable manner.
Thanks. Okay, so this motion passes. Looks like Sophie will be our representative. Now, next motion. Can I have a seconder? Deborah? Okay, Nigel, did you want to motivate? And if anyone wants to postpone or edit any part of this motion, right after Nigel motivates, it would be your opportunity. Okay, Nigel, you have the floor.
Yeah, so basically the board of directors policy stipulates that we should adopt the strategic plan by July 31st. And as a reminder, the strategic plan is just our vision document, but it's not like an exhaustive list of everything we necessarily want to do and every single initiative and project we want to undertake. So there's absolutely space for directors and representatives to pursue projects that fall within the mission, vision, and values of the society. And yeah, there's this is just kind of like our first sort of goal setting little document, but there's space to move beyond that. So yeah.
Thank you, Nigel. Do you have any discussion? Okay, if you want to amend anything or postpone it, now's the time. Okay, seeing none, let's vote. Okay, this motion passes. So we be it ratified that the board adopts the table strategic plan appendix A for the term 2021-2022. That motion has been carried. And that's how we reach to the end of this portion. Now we have to motion to move into camera. So thank you so much for those who have attended, and the board will be going to camera pretty soon. Before we do, I know there's a few things to go about, and I'm aware that we have reached the 1 hour mark. Do we want to break for recess for 10 minutes? Yes, no? I see more no's. So let's motion to move into camera. Can I have a seconder? Sorry, can I have a mover? Moved by Josh, Second, I'll take Shubha. Okay, let's vote.